Hey everyone, and welcome to our long-awaited commentary of the latest DC film, Wonder Woman. And for those of you who listen to our DC Films podcast, you know we've been trying to get this set up for a little while now, and now the movie's been out digitally and on Blu-ray for a little bit. We thought, now's a good time, and I've been looking forward to this commentary pretty much since I saw the movie. And you know, when Katie and I from the podcast. We're doing our Man of Steel commentary, and then I can just rewatching Man of Steel and like looking at all the parallels between Wonder Woman and Man of Steel. I couldn't wait to talk about it, so I'm glad that some of the people from the podcast are here. So if you guys want to go around and introduce yourselves.
Hey guys, I'm Lily from Lily Loves Comics on Tumblr.
Hi, I'm Jean from Batch Activity on Tumblr.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm Story Advocate on Tumblr.
Alright, thank you guys again for taking the time to do this commentary, and I can't wait to get this started. So unless you guys have anything to say before we start, I'm ready to go whenever you guys are.
No, let's do this thing.
Let's pick up. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Alright. So if any of you guys were watching at home, we're all synced up at the very start of the movie at 0 seconds. So we're all going to start in about 3, 2, 1.
Logos.
I was gonna say you're all getting the logo, right? Okay.
Yeah. And I love like you can already hear the electric cello at the beginning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is like one of the best things. I love her singing.
And here comes one of my favorite parts about this movie that's not even technically part of the movie, and
I think it's just amazing that they've managed to make such a completely iconic new
this is
theme
awesome.
for her. Oh my gosh.
Because it looks like it's a mixture of the DCEU looks as well as the comic looks of the characters, which I think is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. And this was the moment where I started flipping out.
I know, me too. Especially because you. Okay, wait.
God, it got better.
I used to want
Yeah.
to save the world. This beautiful place. But I knew so little.
And the shot of Earth looks so awesome.
Yeah,
It's a land of magic and wonder.
Yeah, it's a bit idealized, which
No, yeah,
maybe.
of course.
Yeah, I saw a theory somewhere that like maybe this whole story was just about Diana narrating it rather than it being a completely honest reflection of the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Entirely possible.
Yeah.
The Louvre. Hello, beautiful.
Beauty shot.
yeah.
She looks awesome.
Is another story altogether.
Let's
Such a
talk
fascinating
about
thing
how
too. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
extra Bruce is. He's so extra. Look at that.
I know.
I'm just like
World building.
For real, you got trucks running around Paris with your name on them. You have too much money, sir.
I know. And I think if you look at that license plate, I think that was supposed to be an Easter egg to an old Justice League comic from back in the day.
I think you're right. Yes. Yeah.
It's awesome.
And now,
I think I love the juxtaposition of her working in the Louvre and how it's a really old classic palace, but they've put new structure into it, like the crystal pyramids and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it's really a nice representation of Diana because she is so old and from an ancient society, and yet has found a place in the new world and I don't know, and dealing in antiquities. It's really kind of a neat juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that it's so freaking old that they can't even take it off glass or it wouldn't exist anymore. I don't know why. That's just a really neat thing.
Now I wonder if that's some random handwriting or if that is actually Ben's.
Oh, I hope
That's a
Ben.
good question. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, when I watched this movie with my mom, her comment was, I'm so glad that when she's fighting in the war scenes, her makeup, her eyebrow makeup isn't perfect, but when she's in the Louvre, her eyebrow makeup is on point.
Yeah, no.
Yep. Excellent point.
The little actress that got to play young Diana was so spot on.
Gosh, she was a great little actress. I'm like, okay, so you give you another 10, 15 years, and then come on back and give us some more, please, because she's really good.
And I think, wasn't that Samantha Joe right there, or am I wrong?
Oh, I missed it. It was so fast.
I did too.
And she was like spinning in midair, so I don't know. But I really would like to go to Themyscira, please. So it's one of those fictional
let's
places.
go.
Like,
I mean, I don't know if I would be allowed there, but I'd still love to.
She's so cute.
I know.
Like, she's adorable.
Okay, one thing I gotta say about Robin Wright's character in that this is the first role I've seen Robin Wright in a long time where I think she embodied the character, because I don't see Robin Wright at all.
It's true. She's not doing tons of work. Oh gosh, I love this.
Oh, with Artemis,
around
yeah.
Like, did you just hit me?
Artemis.
Oh, it's just.
It's funny. Like, I didn't even realize until the movie that Diana's like tiara was Antiope's.
Yes.
Yeah, it took me like the second viewing, I think, to realize it.
I realized it the first one, but I had no idea going in, and so I'm glad.
We don't get the rest of the face guard though. It just kind of vanishes.
Exactly,
just,
exactly.
Like, the tiara part.
Yeah, which it should be, because it shouldn't be exactly like Antiope. You know, that was her own.
Man, she's so fearless. She just.
I know, she just jumps off the edge.
I'm like, I'd be too scared to do that.
I know, it's so adorable.
She's so cute.
And I do love her, just her beautiful mother, you know, just that look of motherly exasperation, you know. I said, come on, girl.
You know, even though it would never ever happen, but I would love to see have like the young Trinity all in a movie at some point. You know, like young Clark, young Bruce, young Diana.
They should do the episode of Justice League, you know, where
Where they're all
engaged
kids.
and they're all
Yeah.
children.
They should. That would be great.
I think it's too late to catch, like, the one that played Clark at such a tiny age, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Good.
He's a real cutie on Teen Wolf though.
There'll be no training.
Yeah.
There'll be no training.
That look.
Naughty.
I know.
Okay, also, her bed is, like, ever so beautiful.
I know, I was gonna
and
say.
very much brings to mind her shield, and we all go,
I
yes,
know.
of course. I mean, it's perfect. That's just perfect set design.
You're so adorable.
That child.
I wish for you so much, so I sculpted you. I wish for you so much, so I sculpted you in clay to give you life, and begged you to give you life. Which is why tonight I will tell you new and my story of my people and my days of battle. Yes! So you will finally understand why war is nothing to hurt.
Sorry, we're just watching.
Oh, I
I love
know.
the costume.
I
love how she's just so beautiful in gold.
And I love.
I definitely love this whole thing.
I know, because remember Katie.
Tapestry and everything.
I know,
is
I remember-
beautiful.
It's like fresco come to life,
I
you know.
know.
It's truly beautiful. That's just
It's like
artwork
Michelangelo's
in
art
real
come to
form.
life, really.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's beautiful.
I've always loved how the DCEU kind of brings art to life in the
I know.
films
Yeah.
and drops
Especially like in Man of-
inspiration from that,
like,
and it
in
just
Man
is
of
like
Steel-
they've
yeah.
done it again in a different way, and I love it.
And that's why, like, I remember, like, when Katie and I, when you and I were doing the Man of Steel commentary, that was one of the first things I pointed out when they're doing, like, the whole history of Krypton thing.
Uh-huh.
It's very much so reminiscent, like this reminded me of that so much. But in a
Yes.
new and different way that fits Wonder Woman's story.
Yes.
Awesome.
Love this. Yeah, I love the darkness and how they don't really show his face, and I don't know. It's all really, really cool.
The jealousy and suspicion, he turned them against one another. And war ravaged the earth. The gods created us, the Amazons, to influence men's hearts with love and restore peace to the earth. And for a brief time, there was peace.
Oh, how she just leaked out.
I know. And she's about, like, 8 or 9 at this point, too.
But it did not last. Your mother, the Amazon Queen, led a revolt that freed us all from enslavement.
God, this is so awesome.
No, I know. It's so
Yeah,
cool. I mean, it is just
great.
art come to life.
When Zeus led the gods to our defense, Ares killed them, one by one.
That kind of sucks, because, like, I would like to see something, like, more of the Greek gods at some point in the
I
future.
know. I'm like, excuse you, Ares. You're not supposed to just kill them all.
I wanted to see the other dudes too.
The god of war was forced to retreat.
Now, I wonder if we're ever gonna see Zeus in the movies in the future, you know?
You know,
Yeah,
that is
that'll
a
be-
really big question.
This war, where mankind would finally
Oh, look at her
destroy
go.
themselves and us.
She's so cute. I love how they intersperse the story, though, with her growing up and training. And
Mhm.
Yeah, I did
so you
too.
get the passage of time, and you realize she's just been brought up with these stories and this history all this time.
To hide us from the outside world, somewhere Ares could not find us. And all has been quiet ever since. We give thanks to the gods for giving us this paradise.
That view is amazing.
I know,
I was gonna say, I'd give thanks for that view.
Oh, yeah, me too.
The godkiller.
The weapon is strong enough to kill it.
She looks confused, she's like, I didn't tell you about that.
I know.
She also looks
Yeah,
truly
she did.
concerned. See, look at her.
I
She
know.
doesn't even like her daughter uttering that phrase
Yeah.
because
Oh.
it brings it home way too much, and she
I know.
doesn't want to face it.
Many gifts.
Not to mention, who the heck told you that phrase? And
Exactly.
yeah.
There's the tower she's
But
been
the
climbing up.
voiceover for the part where Diana's told about the godkiller weapon is Antiope, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I don't think
Just
her
the
mother would tell her.
design.
No, I agree.
Damn those biceps.
I'm so jealous.
She looks amazing.
I prayed
He
whenever
does.
we got to arms. But only the fiercest of us even could. And that is not easy.
Well, she never in this scene. She doesn't ever explicitly say this is the god killer.
There's nothing you should
No, no,
She's
and that's the beauty of it.
she's
We are
not
all led to
denying
believe
it,
It's
but
like
she's
she's
not
led to
acknowledging
believe
it directly.
Exactly, but they never actually say it straight out as a lie. So, that face. This girl is also very nice, I thought.
This
I know.
girl reminds me of my sister for some reason. She kind of looks like her.
Oh, that's cool.
I wish we got to see more of her though.
I know, look more of young
I agree.
Diana.
She only got one scene.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I am curious about, because obviously we know that the Amazons aren't immortal, but they don't seem to really visibly age all that much.
Not like we do. So,
Yeah. They probably age at a slower rate than we do.
Probably at the
That's
rate
what I
of
was
like
thinking.
how
They
like
last
Clark would
longer.
age, you know? Because I know like in the comics, like Superman takes him like thousands of years for him to really age.
Yeah.
I will say, especially in this scene, you get a good view before her mom comes in of how hard on her Antiope really is. She's
Yeah.
really, really, really trying to train her and build her up right. It's not just a matter of, yeah, we'll train just for the fun of it. It's she. I don't know. They're both coming at it from a totally different view, and her mother just wants to protect her. And Antiope's going, dude, if we do not train her right, she's going to get eaten alive. And so we've got to train her up hardcore. And so it's fascinating to see the two of them.
It is only a matter
Yeah.
of time before you return. The stronger she gets, the sooner you'll find her. Hippolyta, I love her as you do. But this is the only way to truly protect her. You will train her harder than any Amazon before. 5 times harder. 10 times harder.
I love this whole scene right here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What she is, or how she came to be.
She looks great.
Uh, she could take a hit.
It's pretty much like when she takes the gun stock to the back of the head of Justice.
I
Yeah.
know.
You did not.
You did not just get me.
I have questions about the stiffness of that corset thing she's wearing.
Okay? Hit us with your questions.
What?
Does your boob just ever like fall out of it?
I'm
I'm
It
thinking
doesn't
no,
seem to
because
bend.
it comes over the top so well.
Yeah.
And typical corsets have a boning in them to make them stiff, and I'll bet you money that does not have it because she can't move like she's supposed to.
Yeah, like they have to.
She's got a stiff boning in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? If it's gonna be strapless, the minute you lift your arms, and if the corset is like tight around your torso, isn't it just gonna like boob shot?
Yeah.
Okay, I see your point. I see your point.
Now I have a question about this. So was this an example of her like god powers, or?
I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
Nobody else has ever done that, and they're all shocked.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, they're all surprised.
Yeah, I just want to be sure.
Yeah, and then immediately after, the veil protecting the island gets penetrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Literally
and
immediately after
the
this.
stronger
right?
she gets, the sooner he'll find her. I mean, it is true. And now she's like, oh crap, exactly. They trained her so hard that her power is starting to manifest itself, and she doesn't even know what's going on. Poor thing.
Yeah, looks so confused. She feels so bad.
I know. And you can tell she's like afraid, but almost like proud of her too.
Oh yeah.
Two spot on acting right there.
Now the woman who's the other woman who's lying there with Antiope, that was Diana's other aunt, right?
Yeah, they're three sisters.
Yeah. Because they never explicitly name her as her aunt in the movie.
Are they? Oh, okay. Honestly, I could never tell. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess part of me just assumed Antiope was in a relationship with her. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's what...
They seem really close,
That's what I assumed.
Yeah, I know, that's what I assumed too, but then people, I think, is confirmed that that actually is her other aunt as well, which kind of makes the relationship a little weird if they're in a romantic kind of thing. Yeah, that's,
Yeah, it just means that they're close as sisters, which, the other two are as well, so it's fine.
I mean, all the Amazons were spontaneously, they were spontaneously created, they weren't born, so our biological tie is really relevant here.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
It seems like the only biological child here is Diana, as far as we know.
Okay, I love that, I don't know, if it was anybody else standing on the cliff, who else would have jumped in after this weird plane that came in, They might have, but, they might have also just watched, and she's like, oh, well, time to jump off a cliff and go investigate,
Yeah. So curious by nature.
Yes, and very, very just kind of daring, as you can see, this child, she's jumping off walls, and she's like, she's just not afraid to go into it and see what's going on. I love all the imagery that really just shows her as set apart, even in his eyes. She's just not like everybody else.
And I love that about her, because she stands out among the Amazons. She stands out amongst the humans. She's not.
Yep.
She's just. I started putting words. I'm not saying she's better than either, but she's not necessarily exclusively one or the other. She's
exactly.
The best. Embodies the best of both.
Yep. That, and she gets to be the one who saves him. That makes me happy, because we see so much of guys saving girls.
I know.
And I'm not bashing that, but it's delightful to see it the other way around. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, I appreciate the fact that it's very much told from hers and the women's perspective rather than that of the man's world. We get introduced to her first. We get introduced to Themyscira first, and then suddenly a random unknown guy from outside comes in.
I know.
Yep. Agreed.
So it's very clear that it's their perspective that this is coming from. It's Diana's perspective.
Yep. Yeah. So you're telling me it's just always daytime there? Well, no, night does fall. But it's always good weather.
Apparently.
It's paradise.
Paradise Island.
But who likes that much sun?
Me.
I guess if you've got if you've got good skin like Gal Gadot, you can just afford to be out in the sun all the time.
Okay, you have a good point there. I would fry.
I like his first reaction is wow.
I know. I think that's everyone's reaction to Gal Gadot.
That's true, though. Yeah.
Whoa. Same. Heart same.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen a man.
What is it? Patty Jenkins said that it was just such a gift to have Chris Pine do this role, and I do have to really agree. He's just got this comic timing
I know.
that not everybody has.
And also, he's also a phenomenal actor. Like, this wasn't just like a cookie cutter, like, he's here to get a paycheck kind of role. Like, he put in good work in this, and it shows. I honestly think this is one of his best performances. Like,
yep, I agree. And he's done such a really nice job. He embodies Steve Trevor so perfectly. It was a gift and a blessing.
Okay, I think it's a testament to how well the female perspective is shown in this movie. But just imagine being Steve in this moment, or just any of the men in this moment. It's just like suddenly all these hot ladies on horses just appear.
And they're killing you, and I love
kicking ass. Yeah. Like, whoa, where did they come from?
Now this is awesome right here. All the archers swinging in.
That. Always loved that. So,
this is some wish fulfillment right there. Uh-oh.
I remember seeing this in the trailer. We all kind of assumed,
we all went to the same place. In terms of, she didn't know what it was, and so
she didn't. Yeah,
and right there we all go, oh crap, Amazons can die. Okay.
I mean, do you actually instantly die from a gunshot wound?
Yeah. Oh, I love this coming in with her riding in with all the other Amazons.
What a power!
Type's like, oh man.
She's been waiting for a battle.
For years. Let's do this thing.
Power move.
Okay, I'm just laughing. I'm sorry. If I was one of those guys, I'd be like, I'm gonna.
Okay, that's Samantha Joe right there, I think.
That is her. Yep.
Yeah.
Go, Samantha. See, and how they use the atmosphere, the environment, that makes me so happy. These ladies are awesome.
They are. Wow.
And truly,
It looks like classical art, It's classical art, but like
it does.
At the same time, they're soldiers. It's some beautiful blending right there.
Beautiful. Go, woman.
Oh my gosh.
I know, he tries to be the protective male, and she's like, I'm gonna go back.
This is cool.
And they gave her just majestic music, too, because she is the queen, and I love it. You go, girl. I love her. You know how many men I've seen wander around in those big, fluffy, beautiful, capes, and they gave it to her, and she just looks awesome.
I know.
So, and here we go.
One of my favorite parts of the scene.
Oh, how they work together. I love how they work together. It's such a thing of beauty.
Now, some people complain about the amount of slow motion in this movie. I think it works.
Awesome sauce. Even in the trailer, we're all like, what?
Oh,
no. Okay, he didn't even look at that second shot.
I know.
I'm impressed.
No.
But I'm glad that even though it's like a flashback, I'm glad we're gonna see her again in Justice League.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, I hate to say goodbye to a good character, especially a woman. Come on, man.
I know.
Go away. Please no.
Her sister or her wife or both.
It does not even matter. I know all that matters is that I'm about to cry now. Okay.
No, brother, no. He fought with my side against the
What man fights against his own people?
These are my people.
And why do you wear their colors?
It's a long story.
So that's not what is your name.
We should kill him now. When he's hungry, he dies.
We know nothing about who they are and why.
See, she brings up the most wise point.
I know.
I was like, oh, you're right.
God, the lasso of truth was. I was actually kind of worried that they wouldn't fully use it in the DCEU, but I'm so glad they were able to incorporate it and not have it be this like cheesy thing.
I totally agree. I was worried about that too, but it's like, oh, never mind, it's good.
His acting is amazing.
I know.
You can see it.
Assign British intelligence. What the hell is this?
Themyscira Cassia compels you to reveal the truth.
It's really hot.
And that's also a real way of explaining how it's able to compel people to tell the truth, but...
Yeah.
What is your mission?
I love this.
Keep his mouth closed and like hold it in, you know? No. Ah, he's good fun. I love this guy.
According to our intel, the Germans had no troops left. No money, no munitions of any kind. Our intel was wrong. The Germans had the Turks building bombs for them, not just bombs. New weapons, secret weapons. Identify the worst psychopath, Dr. Isabel Margot. The voice in the trenches called her Dr. Poison.
It's a cool mask.
Yeah. Who plays Dr. Poison? I can't recall.
Let me look it up because I think she's like a German actress, I believe.
Oh, that's nice. That's gross.
Like, well, that's amazing.
Okay. All right, the actress's name is Elena Anaya.
Okay, she did a good job.
Oh yeah,
she is good. She is good.
And she also
I
very.
wish we'd gotten a little bit more fleshing out of her in the script, but I also understand it just didn't fall that way, and sometimes it doesn't in the story, and you know, it's like, all right. So.
And also for me, she very much so reminds me of like Feora in a way from Man of Steel.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
This.
Oh, you're busted. Time to run, Steve. What does make me laugh, though, is that it's a child scene Diana done impulsively. They're a lot alike in a lot of ways. Oh, that's an awesome shot, though,
Yeah.
from the side.
Yeah.
That's, really
That's why I think like
right
Patty
there.
did such a great job of directing the action in this movie.
Oh, yes. Yes, really. She's top tier.
If I can get these notes back to British intelligence in time, we can stop millions more. Dying. We can stop the war. War? What war? The war. War to end all wars. 4 years. 27 countries, 25 million dead. Soldiers and civilians. Innocent people. Women and children slaughtered. Their homes and their villages looted and burned. Weapons far deadlier than people.
Quiet, Bone. I do, I think often we in history forget that World War I was as big as it really was. Like, it was truly the war to end all wars before World War II.
I know.
It changed the world, it changed the gene pool, it changed everything, and it was the biggest thing anybody had ever seen, and it was horrible. And so, yeah, when they talk about the Great War, we go back to World War II immediately, but for them, it was World War I. That thing was crazy. And so I really kind of love that they've placed it during that time period.
Yeah.
And here she is. Time to go.
Yes, but Ares is behind that corruption. Because Ares has made Germans fighting. And stopping the god of war is our foreordinance. As Amazons, this is our duty. But you're not.
Oh yeah, someone raised the theory that like the idea is that the Amazons were created by the Greek gods, and the fact that the Greek gods have all been killed or died, whatever, in their war means that these Amazons just have no mission, and it just shows in the way they're just unwilling to fight even for their supposed mission, because without the mandate of the gods they're just kind of gone. Whereas Diana not being like created an Amazon the way the rest of them, it's like she's able to exercise her independent will and like has the motivation to get out.
Okay, that's actually a really fascinating theory, especially when you look at it versus Clark and Man of Steel, and that kind of same idea in terms of
same idea.
Not being created the same and having the motivation to, what if a child, desires something else, and, all of that kind of theory that Jor-El had. That's really fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
Also, I would like a glowing water bath, please. That looks really cool. I'm down with that.
They have such great chemistry.
They really do. They really do. But honestly, this whole scene, I'm like, sit down. Sit down. What the, you stand up. Like, someone walks in, I would sit down immediately. Like, there wouldn't be standing there chatting, Like,
and I love this. I was like he thinks she's talking about his thing when it's about his watch.
The whole thing is just,
It's amusing.
It's very amusing. And right there, I'm like, wow, too much. I don't need that shot. Take it away. So.
Well, at least they're showing.
Yes, more pointless neo objectification. Give me more.
I do appreciate that the tables are good.
Yes.
You left this little thing telling you what to do.
I like that they did that in VVS too.
I know. And
yes, just
look at that.
You get the extended edition.
I know.
Extended edition, you're like, oh, thank you, Zach.
Right?
What is this place? Who are you people? What is the water?
I agree. I have questions, and lots of them.
Can we get some glowing water?
The way he accepts, the way he just responds to the things that she says, is like, okay. But I love that bridge between a great understanding line, because, again, it harkens back to Man of Steel when Jor-El was talking about we wanted you to be a bridge between two peoples.
I know.
And you really see how both of them really do straddle this line of being, children of two different worlds, and, and not quite be one or the other. And it's just really fascinating to watch the parallels between them. And no offense to Batman, but he just doesn't have the same origin story and the same, kind of ideal. He tends to straddle, his own struggles more in terms of who he's supposed to be.
So tragic.
I think again that's one of the reasons why I love this movie so much, because there are so many story parallels between Clark and Diana's origin that one of the reasons why I like Wonder Woman so much is that she has similar qualities to Clark, but also what she's able to stand up for is a little more meaningful at the end of the day. Not say what Superman stands for isn't meaningful, but to be a woman, especially in this point in time when women were still had no real role in, or at least they were still trying to fight for their rights, just to vote and things like that. To have her come in this time when men still looked at women, even obviously that's still kind of a problem today, but especially back then when women were looked down upon so much. To have her come out and be into everyone to kind of be like, oh, okay, when she just shows up and they just kind of accept that she's there.
Yes, it's a perfect time period to put her in, and I appreciate the difference that there is a lot of parallels, but whereas Clark is trying to kind of struggle and find his place, you know, and balance his strength, so to speak, Diana is more just, no, I see something wrong, it's time to go fix it. You know, I love the line that Steve just gave her, and that's pretty much what motivates her right here is, you know, when you see something wrong, you do something about it, you know, or you do nothing. And I've already tried doing nothing, you know. Exactly, and she's like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna do that, and that's really cool, and it gives her own identity, so she's not just a like mirror copy of Superman or some other hero, you know, she's entirely her own identity, her own person, and I love her character for that.
Yeah, and I think in particular, they put an effort to like really differentiate them, especially in Diana's world building, and showing like how she grew up, like in contrast. Oh god.
Okay, there. Ooh, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Like in contrast to Clark, who like, you know, for the first half of Man of Steel in particular, like he's like ostracized by his peers, and he's dealing with that moral struggle for most of his life, whereas Diana doesn't have that. Like she grew up loved and confident, and you know, and like just always sure of what her choices were gonna be. So it's just even though they are similar, like it shows them coming from two completely different places, and like how, you know, you can still be good in two different ways despite that. You know, Clark had to navigate a lot more moral ambiguity than Diana ever had to. But that's what makes him more human, and that's what makes her like more heroic, I suppose, in a way.
Otherworldly, so to speak.
Otherworldly.
I agree.
Yeah, it sets them apart.
Yep, it does. I just love how their characters are well developed, and you're right, they do differentiate between them. None of them are exactly like the other, and that's the last thing I want. It's a whole bunch of heroes that, you know, quote are different, but are really just the same with different circumstances surrounding them. That just frustrates me. So
and if they hadn't gone that route with Superman, like given him that particular difficulty.
I love that look. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take that.
But where's that suit from? Where's the suit from? It's just she just randomly sees it and like, oh, pretty.
Yeah. I guess maybe it's like an ancient armor of theirs.
Pretty, I want that.
They don't specify.
Yep. Those boots, though.
See, again, it's more decorative. It's more colorful. Oh, does that mean it's more ceremonial? Similar to, you know, I don't know, a Kryptonian suit that somebody else inherited from his ancestors from way back when. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe. But I agree. Those boots, freaking awesome.
Well, I remember back.
Okay, here's the thing, right? Okay, just to digress from this movie for a second, do you think that Clark's suit might actually be considered like what's the equivalent of today of like a 1940s lab coat or something? Because they wear it as an undergarment, and it was from like 1,000 years before the end of Krypton. You know, 10,000 years before the end of Krypton. It was a scout ship, so it's an outdated undersuit. It's colorful, like in the modern day, right? Like just before the planet's extinction, they all wore black, and now this thing is like spanking red, blue, and yellow. So
I always looked at it as, I can't remember where I saw it. I saw somewhere just came out where they pointed out that it was more ceremonial, and so it was really just for, you know, how to speak, special occasions. That was like dress up wear, you know, and so that's why it was more colorful, because the other stuff is more utilitarian and basic, and then this one is, you know, this is when, you know, you're doing a ceremony because you're doing the ribbon cutting on a new planet or something, and you dress up, and that's why that one had more color to it and everything. I cannot remember where I saw that, but when I swore it was an official source, and I went, oh yeah, that makes sense, and I just never questioned it.
I think it's like one of the costume designers. I think I remember reading that too. But also I think I remember in Man of Steel, like in the one scene where Jor-El jumps into the water to get the Codex, like he's wearing, like, it's not fully colorful, but it's like kind of like a blue and gold version of the suit. So maybe it's like by class, like the military, they all wear straight up black. And then you have Jor-El, who's like the scientist. He wears slightly different colors because he's a different part of the culture, you know. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, that's
all right.
such
Sorry, back to
back to Wonder Woman.
I mean, I can't imagine not seeing my mother for the rest of my life.
I know.
I agree right there.
That's the question I have.
So heartbreaking. And she knows it too. She knows what she's going into, and she hasn't even fully informed her. And
I know, and she's
as a
still
mother,
keeping the
it's just
truth.
like that. It's just got to be heartbreaking, you know. And that's why she says, "You're been my greatest joy, and you're also
My greatest father.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it comes into is motherhood. You know, they can be your greatest joy, and yet
Your greatest
it's
sorrow.
kind of like having your heart outside of yourself. You know, there's always that possibility that some harm is going to come to them, that they're going to end up in a bad place, that something bad is going to happen, and then you have to deal with that. You know, it's can be a dangerous thing to love others, but we always do it. Such a beautiful scene and well acted. These ladies are just stellar.
Yeah, for sure.
Now my question is, do you guys think we'll see Diana and Hippolyta interact in Justice League? Because we know Steppenwolf's going to go to Themyscira to grab one of the mother boxes.
I really hope so, and it gave me hope to see Hippolyta there when the cube, the
mother box.
Thank you. Was attacked basically in there, because it's like, oh good, that's present day. So maybe, we'll get some Diana and her mom chatting, just even for a little bit, so that she could fill her in on, there's problems here. And that would be awesome, because I agree. I'd like to think that Diana had the possibility of going back. In the trailer, she said you might not be able to return, or something about the way she phrased it made it seem like if she left, Diana would never be able to go home again. And then when we got to the film, the line was slightly different, and it was, you may never return, in terms of something could happen to you and I might never see you again. And so that also made me feel better. Okay, good. Maybe she can actually go home to visit, even if she decides not to truly be there. So, fingers crossed. Okay, somebody's madly typing in the background.
Yeah, I know. I was like, eh.
I'm sorry, that's me. I'll stop. Sorry.
It's okay. You sound like one of those newspaper rooms. You're like, and we're just going. Get the news out. Do that commentary. Okay, now, can I also say, this is weird. It's going to sound weird, but it's highly unusual for as much as was improvised in this scene to have been, A, done in the first place, and B, kept in the film. Typically, nowadays, the script is done. It's just get out there, do your lines, do the thing, make it magic, make it flow, and then get off. And then, and then we take the cut.
Okay, as far as I know, as far as I could tell from, the blooper reel, the stuff about the sex stuff, it was scripted, but, the way that they delivered their lines was a lot of ad-lib. If you saw the B-roll, it just shows them in a bunch of different positions, trying out saying the lines in a bunch of different ways.
Yep.
Maybe some of them they delivered those lines standing up, walking around the boat. Some of them lying down, kind of set up. Yeah,
okay,
that makes a lot more
this
sense.
is what I was gonna say is that. I appreciate Patty deeply as a director, because as a director, often you get better work from actors if you say, okay, let's tinker with this. Let's fiddle around. Let's try it, like you said, standing up, sitting down. Do it as if it was this kind of scene, as if that. Let's improvise. Just throw stuff out there and see what happens. Most of it you never, ever keep, because it doesn't work. But you have the opportunity for something new to spark up, and you go, ooh, that's good. Let's take that. And then you tweak it and move it. And that's how you really get, A, really good stuff out of your actors, and B, you make it kind of new and alive instead of the drudgery of come in, do your lines, and go away. And so Patty, to me, is a really gifted director that way with her actors, because she gave them that freedom to do that and said, okay, just fiddle with things, see what happens. Now, in one of the B-rolls or the up close something, didn't he say, you should have read, the 13th book or something like that? When after she says that men are, good for pleasure or good for reproduction, but not needed for pleasure, and he goes, no, and then there's a line, he goes, well, you should have read the next book or something like that, which is funny, but again, not really as funny as just him going, no, and then just cutting that line out. And so I feel like they're kind of just improvising and throwing stuff out and just fiddling around really, really helped to give the chemistry of this scene, and that's what really makes it shine, and that makes her a hella good director in my book, because you don't often get that.
Yeah.
not in professional world where time is money and you don't have time to just tinker and fiddle around. You got to get this done. You got to, stay in the budget, all that kind of stuff. So Patty's good stuff.
Yeah, to say the least. I love this, and kind of like what you guys were saying. Like, I think this scene was just it was a place in the movie for them to really explore Gal and Chris Pine's chemistry.
Yeah,
really show that like there is genuine chemistry between the two of them. It's not this like forced thing where like in other movies it's just like romance and for the sake of romance. But this, like, you feel the genuine chemistry between the two of them as characters and as actors.
Yep. And it's just a thing of to watch them, interact and I don't know. She's so very like, well, I read the books. I know how it works.
I know she's like, she's naive and like in terms of man's world,
or
but she's
completely
not,
unknowing, and do that. Born Sexy Yesterday. She's like, no, I got it. And you're totally not really necessary unless you want to have kids. He's like, all right then, and it's just, it's really cool.
Not enough. This unbelievable Germany is giving up. Von Hindenburg has recommended the Kaiser sign the armistice. We have run out of time.
Alright, so did anybody read the article that talked about how actual people who had dealt with disfigurement and stuff through the gases of World War I had several of these masks made, like people made them for them to wear so that they could cover up their scars? That was actually really cool. I didn't realize how period that actually was.
Wow. I thought it was just because it was like more of like a comic booky kind of thing, but yeah.
See, me too. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that's actually really neat. That's very, very cool.
Now this, I kind of wish they went a little more detail about what this was exactly, because they kind of just introduced it as this thing that temporarily makes them stronger, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me. It's almost like, what is that drug that people can take and they just seem kind of super powered? Even cops have talked about it. Is that the speed? I'm such a drug baby. But like, where they're so tanked up, there's a specific one, and they just seem like super powered, and it takes more cops to, to like tackle them and bring them down and stuff like that. That's what it feels like this is.
Yeah, like a PCP.
Yes. And and it's temporary, but it definitely increases their strength.
Now this
it's implied that the creation of this drug was inspired by Ares.
No, yeah, of
at
course.
least. So
yes, thank you. I was just gonna say that. I love that, and how they showed that later. Just that paper drifting toward her was that thought of, oh, what if I did this, and he just skillfully kind of moves things along. That was really cool. That was a stroke of genius.
And now we're in London.
Oh, look, it's all great.
Yeah, I like that. Her first response is like, it's hideous.
You guys like to be caught a ride. We make some good time. Welcome to Jolly Old London.
But it's true though. It's never as beautiful as blue. It's just
I love how, like, even in this one scene, you can already see so much diversity just being in London. Like, you see, like, all the different types of people, not just, like, your typical, like, white people, Like, you do see, like, sick men right there.
Oh, yeah, Trevor Baston. Yep. Totally agree.
Oh, I love this.
Together.
It's so adorable.
She's like, huh?
Hey, come on, as a guy, you're really gonna reject a woman holding your hand?
That's what I was just thinking. They could have made Steve a classic, all right then, let's hold some hands. And he just, I don't know, he's just a step above in terms of, I don't know, decency, gentlemanly, I don't know. But I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. But I really gotta drop this book. Yeah, I just love him.
To the war.
Yeah, sure. Take you to the war.
What are you doing?
Not bringing it close. Let's go buy you some clothes.
What did we
And I like how, if you notice, they really do, like, Patty does a good job of, like, trying to keep the whole armor, like, kind of not fully shown until the no man's land scene.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was perfect because we're all just catching glimpses of it, but it's only then that we get the true everything, and we go, oh, that is iconic, and that keeping that reveal for later was the best thing they ever could have done.
I kind of hope for more Etta. I loved her.
I love her so much. I agree. I really want them to just make an Etta movie or something, and
Spin-off. I'll watch that.
That's why I was happy they did that little epilogue thing once the movie came out digitally and stuff.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
She's a cutie.
And Lucy Davis did a great job with, like,
She did.
being funny, but also feeling like a real and sincere character, not just being there just for the chuckles, you know?
Yes. And lots of different facets to her. I was really impressed. She wasn't one-dimensional. Also, I'd like to go shopping here. This looks like fun. Oh, if I had, unlimited supply of money and no tummy,
You're right.
Conservative, but entirely unfun.
That face she makes.
Is that dress too short for her?
It is a walking length afternoon dress, so it's meant to be a little bit higher so you're not dragging it through the mud and sludge that is London, and with the high boots that made it acceptable. But for evening wear or at home wear, it would be too short. It's sad that I know this stuff, but I do. So that's my favorite. You can't kick in this.
Can't say that I blame her. I wouldn't.
Kinky.
It's beautiful. Beautiful clothing. I've always loved period clothes, but it's true. They are insanely restrictive.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
She looks good.
He's like, gosh dang it.
I like how even in a conservative outfit, she's distracting.
Exactly.
And I think this is supposed to be a nod, because I know Patty took a lot of inspiration from the Richard Donner Superman movie, and I think this was one of those nods that, like, the whole glasses look.
Yep. Looks totally cute. Yeah, like a scene later, they just completely lose the glasses. This is my favorite. I'm heading downstairs, got my shield and my sword. Let's do this thing, and they're all like, whoa,
What is she doing?
So cute.
And that was the guy who's going to confront them in the alley in a second.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just get the time right. It's fine.
Why don't I meet you back at the office? I mean, while I'll take this specific feedback. Oh no, I don't think so.
You gotta put the sword down, Diana, please.
It doesn't go with the outfit.
No, put the sword down, first of all.
Promise me, you will protect your life.
Her face. She's like, okay.
Shield.
And the shield.
Poor Etta.
This isn't amazingly heavy or anything. Okay, see right here.
I love that she picks up on that real quick.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Even Edda's like, wait,
something's off here.
That's cool to me.
How shitty are these spies, honestly?
So, yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
So shitty. Come on, spies, do your job.
Yeah,
right. You're supposed to be sneaky, not shady. So shady.
Go to spy school.
So obvious.
Make better spies than others.
Oh, snap. man. Well, now you're gonna get it.
Oh gosh, I love it.
We do. I think this was another nod to the Superman thing, right?
Yes.
It may have been, but I just truly loved it because I love how it's hot, and then he realizes what it is, and even the guy that shot it is like, what? You know, and he's like, all right, never mind. I don't think anything.
Oh, there goes.
And then his hands up. I'll help you if you want.
Oh. Whoa. Say a few more.
Oh, I love that.
I'm sorry. Look, you know.
Oh, he did.
He's dead. Sorry, man.
You know, it was funny. The first
Yeah, I love how she just walks in anyway.
I know.
It's a beautiful
Oh,
thing.
like contrast
Because
this
like planners,
to
but I
like Hippolyta's council.
Oh, I know.
It's just like so polite versus this chaos.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
You know, it's funny. Up until this point, like the first time watching it, my fiance goes up to me and she's like, "This really kind of feels like a Harry Potter movie." And I'm like, "Huh? I wonder why."
I wonder.
David Lewis is a lovely actor.
He is.
And honestly, I don't know. I've heard, you know, everybody can have their opinion. It's totally cool, but it was really cool them choosing him simply because he presents such an unthreatening figure at all times. You know what I mean?
Also,
He's
that's
just that
also
nice,
like-
sweet
like-
little friendly guy, you know, Brit, so Lupin, everything's great. Wait, what? You know, and that was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to this young woman, the room was finally quiet enough for me to get a piece of fuel worth. Sir Patrick called and at your service.
Dad.
Prince, Diana Prince. She is or working together. Checking over this local family.
Okay, we're just sitting here watching. I do love, though, how he ends up providing her with her alias. Do you guys think he recognized her immediately?
Well, he said when he first saw her, he wanted to like kill her then and there. So
Okay,
I think he immediately
so I'm
knew.
pretty sure, even right there, he was like there's something about that connection that he immediately recognized who she was and what her purpose was, you know, what her mission
He's
was.
like, oh, well, there's my sister.
Yep. Heck, it's true. He knew more about it than she did, poor woman. So. All these people trying to keep secrets to protect. Stop that.
I know. It never works out.
I know. You always leave them underprepared and, you know, really hoser. She's really pretty. Okay.
And she just shows them up.
I know.
I love it.
They just look at her.
Like, duh, you guys don't know that?
I don't like in this scene. Like, obviously, these guys are in a time where like sexism was like a huge problem. But even then, in this scene, they do kind of let her have her moment, which was nice.
Yeah.
They didn't say like, "Oh, she's a woman. How dare she speak?" They're like, "Okay, fine."
I agree. It's somewhat emasculating to be like, oh, we have to have her do it. But at the same time, they recognize that the war is serious enough that they really need this thing translated.
A new kind of gas, mustard gas, hydrogen based instead of sulfur.
Gas mask. There's hydrogen.
The book says they plan to release the gas at the front.
Well,
It doesn't say. When it's from the flight.
sir, that is the evidence we need. You have to find out where they're making that gas. You have to burn it to the ground and destroy it. Ludendorff was lost at sea in Belgium. We can't be seen sending troops into Germany. Occupy Belgium as we are negotiating this. It is you to kill everyone on both sides. They will all die. That's what the soldiers do. And send me with some logistical support. At least give me the chance to take out the moves operation myself. But let me say, I couldn't use low medicine. Sir,
now more than ever, the armistice is of paramount importance. It must be negotiated. It must be signed. This is the best way of stopping the war.
Captain, you will do nothing. And that is an order.
Historically,
Yes, sir.
it's kind of hilarious, right? The fact that like Ares is right, like by negotiating the armistice, it kind of indirectly led to World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like ultimately, even though they stop him this time, Ares wins.
He really does, yeah.
And that's the problem, is that he's always going to. Mankind makes it impossible, you know,
Yeah.
to have war completely gone, for Ares to be completely defeated, you know. We just can't help ourselves. And so there's always kind of an eternal thing. Okay, and I do love how she just reams them all, and now
I know,
she's
she's like,
so
you should be
changed.
ashamed. You should be ashamed.
He's
I
like,
love
dude,
that.
I gotta talk to you.
This is Ares, and he's not going to allow a negotiation or a surrender. The millions of people you talked about, they will die.
I love this.
Yeah.
You mean you were lying?
Also,
What I do?
Gets that lasso. That is my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm taking you to the front. We are perfect. Pardon me,
what is that?
Oh wow.
I love him. He is hilarious. But
Now,
it's
one
true.
thing-
I'm glad he recognizes this is probably not the smartest idea ever, but it's the only one I can think of, so we're going to go with that. And, you know, she wants to also, so hey, let's all just go, you know.
Yep.
We'll probably
Now-
get killed, but at least we'll be doing something, you know.
Now, here's one of my favorite characters of the movie in
I love
Samir.
him.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Stop making money. So, my uncle, the prince, and I want to which prince is that? I decided to extend your lawsuit.
Now, one thing I want to point out, in that, 'cause obviously there's a lot of comparisons to this movie and Captain America: The First Avenger. Now,
Oh,
in
yeah.
Captain America: The First Avenger, one thing that I like also was a problem because it's Marvel, it's a thing that they've done in the past. But with the Howling Commandos, they had a couple of different people in there, but they make like a couple of like racist jokes in there just because, oh, it's World War II, so of course these guys weren't going to be total forward thinking and diverse. Like in this, you have this team of guys who, like, yes, he, like, Sammy makes the comment about him being the wrong color when he's being an actor, but like they're not basing, you know, like they're not making fun of the fact that they're people of
Yes.
different races and backgrounds. You know?
They're just
Yeah, and they're not just token minorities, you know.
They aren't.
Even though we only get a few seconds with each character, we do get like the sense that they are people.
Yes, well, and even right there, he's very intelligent. He knows many languages.
Except
Yeah.
ancient
You know,
Greek.
that's really cool to see him and Diana going at it, and then she finally stumps him. But it takes several tries. He's very smart. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah. And yeah, my favorite.
Yeah.
That's not him.
And this guy could have been another like comic relief kind of character, but the fact that like they made him so layered and have it be someone struggling with PTSD and like all that, it makes the whole movie feel a little more layered. That they aren't just like token characters there for the sake of being there. That they do just have somewhat of a purpose, and that they do feel like real people.
Yeah, I like how the DCU has done that with all their movies so far.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just have a token
Yep.
character.
I just love it, and I love how fully formed they are, which they really need to be.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And Sammy impresses me because like he wants to be an actor, but he can't. So instead, he just uses his God-given amazing acting talent for, you know, to swindle and/or, you know, be a bit of a shyster, and you know.
Yeah.
He's a fast talker who can put on a character and, you know, sucker people in because that's pretty much it's all related. And I don't know. I really love him. That and the whole when he tried to hug Diana and she was like, "Excuse you," and he's like, "Okay, yeah, I'm done." So.
Oh my gosh. Huh? That reaction, like, what? And then I love how they take her serious right after this scene.
And I love in the epilogue scene when the guy comes back, Ed is the one that knocks him out again.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that was great.
So fat. Yeah, like just immediately stands up and has his arm. We're all like, wait, what happened? She's fat.
I love that line. You know, it's funny because that line reminds you so much of that one line in Anchorman when Will Ferrell's like, "I'm both scared and horny."
Oh, yes, that's right.
Again, people can say what they want about David Thewlis. Sorry to interrupt, but like he was so great in this movie. I love him so much. Just being good.
I agree. I really loved him in this, and he just was a perfect lead-in, a perfect little fake out, and also still had, like I talked about before, that kind of world-weary bit at the end where Ares is just like, these guys are they're so awful, you know. Even I'm tired of them. Just let them kill each other, please, you know. And it's just, yeah, I really like him.
Me too.
But I loved how, you know, Etta came in and she's like doing the whole eye thing. Like, she's always on their side. She's like trying to warn them, somebody's coming in and it's not my fault, you know.
Oh no.
You totally do it, Etta. Okay, I love this whole train station scene because, again, look at the diversity. Oh, look at all these people.
It's awesome.
I love it, and I love how full it is, and how, I don't know, it's just all kind of real.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that they were able to include that ice cream scene in here.
Oh yeah.
Ice cream is wonderful.
I'm so happy they were able to do that because I know because I was part of the New 52 run when they were first doing Justice League, and then they did it in the animated Justice League War, and the fact that they were able to do this. And I like how this one was very subtle. It wasn't like an over the top like this is wonderful kind of thing, you know.
Yep. It's a wonderful thing, though. Yep. I do love how he points that out, you know. I'm as good as any of these people, you know, and I do the same thing, so it's just what it is.
I know, she sees the horrors of war.
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
And I really, truly appreciate that this is not a glorious thing, you know.
I know.
This war sucks.
I know. And I think that's the problem with, like certain, like, World War II movies or, like, whatever. Like, they almost, like, glorify it because that's why I'm glad they went with World War I instead of World War II because World War II is so, like glamorized to be this, like, oh, it was just us against Nazis and it was so simple, but yet there was so much death on both sides.
Yes,
and also the amount of, like, Jewish people who lost their lives, like, yes, there's a clear-cut bad guy, but for the longest time, the U.S. wanted nothing to do with the war.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they didn't even care.
So
they were,
late,
like,
we just
they only jumped in.
World burn, and we were fine with that. So,
yeah, and it was, like, that's why, like, looking at this war where there was no clear-cut bad guy, obviously this is a fictionalized version of it, but... And the real World War I, it was
crazy.
They called it, like, the brother against brother war. Like, there was, again, it was the war to end all wars at the time, and they thought, like, if we can get past fighting each other for senseless reasons, we can move past this, but we as mankind didn't.
Yep, but it was, you know, everything just got pulled together, and they thought, surely they'll never see another like this in their lifetime, you know. Oh, never mind. So...
which looked off and the arms now is war with them. It is over. It's over.
And again, Ludendorff is the perfect character to focus on because he wants to continue it, you know. They're like, dude, it's over, man. We're just gotta negotiate peace and stuff like that. And he's, you know, no, we should keep fighting. And of course he seems totally like, of course that's Ares. Of course it is. Oh my gosh, they're like little
That was
children.
so cheesy. Like
Little evil demon children.
I know. Well, there were a couple instances of this movie where, like, the villains, like, there's some cheesy lines, but it's okay because the movie itself is great, and, like, these are, I mean, while I would say Ludendorff is the most layered villain, he's still a decent villain nonetheless. I've definitely have seen worse. Like, he's not awful.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's, I probably would say, like, my favorite character of the bunch.
I love him so much, and I really have high hopes to see him again, considering that he is who he is, and that he's not going to age the same. Yeah! Bring it.
Here it is.
And I'm Diana.
And I think she understood what he was saying, too.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. She just responded, you know. Yep, totally and clean. I love Chief so much.
Me too.
I love that Patty was like, here,
Yeah.
you should be in charge of what your character looks like, you know, do what you think
I love that
best
too.
reflects your people's at time. You know, that's just awesome.
I know, because the actor was actually worried about playing a character with just the name of Chief, and Patty was the one who allowed him to kind of, like, make the character his own and not make it be this, like, stereotypical thing, and it wasn't.
Exactly.
He starts out being like, you know, I could profit because I'm not on either side, but at the end of the day, after the No Man's Land scene, when the people in the village are trying to offer him money, he's like, no, like, I'm okay. Like, he was rejecting it.
He's got a heart in there.
Layers.
Yep, lots of many layers. He's
Oh shit, okay, like this is the moment I started screaming in the cinema because it's like, I'm not from America, so maybe I don't understand the full nuances of it, but like, just from what I've seen from Tumblr, like, this is just so amazing that they actually like verbally admitted that out loud.
Because honestly, that's the one thing about American, like, when people say, oh, get out of our country, well, I'm a white American, like, we stole this country from the natives. We claimed that it was ours, and we created, like, genocide, essentially. We killed off most of these people. And that's why I was so happy to see Native American representation. And I have some Native American blood in me, like, on my mother's side, there's some Native American in there. But
that's cool.
No, yeah, I mean, it's not a lot to, like, to be able to say, oh, I'm Native American. Like, I'm, like, 1/8 or something, like a really small percentage. But even then, like, I can acknowledge that, hey, like, what we did as people was wrong. Like, we shouldn't have killed all these people in the sake of taking land. It was awful. And that's why, like, when they brought this up in Wonder Woman, I'm so glad they did, because in too many movies, you see, like, the stereotypical, especially at this point in time where, like, in, like, the Old West or whatever, you see, like, oh, there's called the Indians, and it's just, like, they're, like, this very typical, stereotypical one-note kind of thing, when in here, like, these are people who lost everything. And America tried to make you forget that. And
and like, there's something to be said about, like, hello?
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said about, I think, the role that this movie, Wonder Woman, has in, like, normalizing things, you know, like the fact that it, like, has a female main lead and it doesn't harp on it, the fact that it has, like, a Native American character or a character with PTSD, and it's like, it's not the central focus of the movie. It's briefly discussed, but it's not, like, resolved or made a big issue of, you know. We don't raise the debate, we just acknowledge it as an issue and acknowledge that these are issues, and it's all part of just, like, coming to accept that these issues exist and not, like, making them into a huge debate, and just, like, you know, learning to accept things and normalize things. And that's really the goal of representation, you know. It's not just about discussing issues, it's about making sure that people just come to accept them and normalize it, yeah.
Yep, and acknowledge it.
Yeah.
I love this. All the lead-in, though. The discussion at the tent, you know, seeing Charlie's PTSD, then walking through and seeing all the horror around and everything, and now they're in the tunnels and hearing about Veld. It's the perfect build-up to her going, nope, I'm done, and I'm going to go help these people, you know?
Yeah.
I've been tired of walking past and getting told that's not why we're here. So...
Yeah.
Oh, here comes. I would say the most people's favorite scene in the movie right here.
Oh yeah. Well, it's just so amazingly epic and iconic. And I totally understand Steve's point of view. From a practical standpoint, yes, there's nothing we can do about that. Stopping the war will you know. And she's like, no, you know, and it's such a thing of beauty. It really is.
And look at the soldier right here who's like,
I love how it focuses on the soldier, too, with this weird look of like, what is she doing? And then we get to see the headband.
I know.
I just remember, like, the first time we saw this particular clip in the trailer, I just watched it over and over, and I actually burst into tears.
Yes, I was like, oh, this is going to be epic, and then I watched the movie, and it was like, holy crap, this is epic. It's just so beautiful.
I love this.
Look at it, it's just, like, beautiful. It's like, pretty much just, like, storytelling again, you know?
Yeah.
That is beautiful storytelling.
Music. What an icon.
I know.
Yep.
So beautiful.
Honestly, I feel like they could have milked it even more.
I know.
They could have, but I'm glad they didn't, simply because I would be terrified of them milking it too much.
Yeah, that's true.
It's such a fine line.
I gotta say, and the Wonder Woman armor just looks so fantastic,
we need to capitalize on this, you know. He's willing to follow her. Go, girl, go.
Go.
What an icon.
She's amazing. Perfect example of, though, being the icon to lead people to be better. Because she was pinned down there and couldn't have really done anything if the others hadn't come up and started picking people off. And, you know, she was just the ideal of hope that led them there.
I just wish they'd done like a really big wide shot of this scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's time.
I know.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get a warehouse fight?
the time, the music. Okay, shh. Everyone shush, we need to hear the music.
You're right, my bad.
Wow.
So awesome.
Yeah, I know. That
Awesome.
shot, though.
And this right here.
Okay,
them running
okay.
together, it's the coolest
Okay.
thing.
Okay, now can I just bitch for a moment about the fact that her hair extensions just seem to have no consistent length?
Yeah.
Does it bother anyone else? Like her hair just like
Oh
keeps
my God.
changing length.
No, it doesn't really bother me.
I just thought that was her hair. I don't know.
I'm too focused on everything else.
I know, I'm like,
Teamwork.
Oh, what she does is tank here in a second. Oh my god.
oh my gosh, I know.
Nice.
Now you made me angry.
Oh hey, look, it's her unshaved. It's her shaved armpits. Oh my god.
OMG, you
I
guys.
don't even care.
Yeah.
She lifts a tank to reveal
She lifts a
shaved
tank.
arms.
You're
You
worried about
focus on her pits. Wow.
See, and I love that right there. She would have taken a shot, but Steve's right there, you know, and that's just cool. Not she can't handle things on her own, but they're so much stronger as a team.
Yeah.
Also, that lasso work is a thing of beauty.
I know.
Yeah, like, nasty.
Getting Charlie, bell tower! Come on, Charlie, shoot him!
Poor Charlie.
I know. And I appreciate Sammy telling me it's okay, you know, I mean,
know.
they acknowledge that it's there, and that it may not be opportune, you know? It's not going to come at just the good times.
We're to put this on our backs, and when I say go, lift off. Shield!
It's so cool that Steve did that.
So
Yeah.
awesome.
What an awesome way to end the scene too.
I know. Like, we don't even get a glimpse of what happens to Sniper, you know? We just figure he's toast.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's like blown out the back or squished under a bunch of bricks. you
Yeah,
know?
he's jammed.
You know, it's kind of sad realizing, like, it was so awesome for her to save all these people, but then it all becomes undone when they release the gas in the village a little later in the movie.
I know. I know. Well, and that is the nature of war, you know. There's a terrible cost, and there is victory and then defeat. There's 2 steps forward, 1 back. It really, it's a horrible, horrible thing.
Now this is the scene where Zach was in the back somewhere. I think. Yeah.
I see a soldier. Is that him wandering off to the side?
It might be him.
Yeah, he was one of the
Okay.
soldiers, I think.
Yeah, he was a soldier.
Which I think that was cool.
Yeah.
Totally
And I thought that he had his own photo too. That was cool. of them to do.
For officers of shooting, you cannot shoot.
Right. What they would like to do what they want to do all the time. Me? I'm an actor. I love acting. I didn't want to be a soldier. But I'm not. I know it's fighting your own battle, Diana. There's no fighting yours.
I love Sam.
Me too. and then Chief.
And I love Chief. I know. See, I love them all. This is why I seriously would watch it if they just gave us some prequels of Steve and his gang and Etta being obnoxious and doing stuff during the war or before the war or whatever, the adventures. I'd watch it. I mean, I love Diana, but, you know, I just love all these guys too.
Me too.
German High Command. So the intel report that they brought to the Gala on board the German armistice, and the Kaiser himself, Kaiser had to be there, as well as Dr.
Yeah, right about here, I was like, okay, He wanted to be there so that he could get all the inside information. Of course he's having her run the mission out of his office.
Yeah.
Sir, there will be no armistice unless nuclear bombs the entire front line. Hold on 1 second, sir.
You shouldn't be bothered about accepting the peace accord. Ares would never let...
What? What is it?
Of course, it makes complete sense. Ares developed a weapon the wars never devised.
Ares, you mean Ludendorff?
I mean Ares. Ludendorff is Ares.
Sir, this is our last chance, our final chance to find out where the gas is and to learn how Ludendorff plans on delivering it.
No. I forbid it. You hear me? I forbid
Sir,
it.
I'm losing it.
The classic.
Wow.
Going into a tunnel, you're breaking up.
I like to get you to respect my responsibility.
Well, at least she's honest.
I know.
Yeah. I like the quiet moments because you get a lot of character with them. You
Really do.
kind of need them. Otherwise, there's just, you can't have all fighting and adventure and stuff, or you lose a lot of the character. The character moments come out in the small stuff like this, which is commonly cut in films because it's deemed as too slow or unnecessary because, you got to keep the momentum going, but that's where you lose all the character.
Yeah.
This is why I'm a huge fan of deleted scenes, always have been.
Not the gun. No.
Going to Gala. I'm ready for now how to dance.
Alright.
Here I am. Like so. I'll put my arm around you like so. And you just sweat. You just sweat. That's it. Hold on. I haven't heard you sing in years.
See again, layers. I love Charlie.
In the snow.
It's wonderful.
Magical.
Perfect for in this scene, but in real life, I'm like, oh crap. Not snow.
That's what people do when there are no wars to fight.
Yeah. No, what is it?
One thing I gotta say, other than the Wonder Woman theme, like I know, like The score isn't necessarily the most memorable, but it's still a really nice score for like scenes like this.
Agreed. It fits really nicely. I agree. I don't tend to be humming it in the background or have it stuck in my head like some of the other ones. Hans Zimmer has always done that for me.
Yeah.
But it's really beautifully done, and it fits the atmosphere. It fits the time period as well. So, yeah, it just works. Okay, can I just say, like, she didn't even have to say anything.
I know, she just gives him that look.
They were to close the door, you know what I mean? They kind of met eyes. He caught her look, and that was it. See, they're on Lois and Clark ground now.
Speaking without words.
They're talking without words, you guys. So, yeah. And I'm really grateful that all we got was the beauty of this, and then cut to an outdoor window. Yeah. Thank you. Just because I don't need it ruined, by actually showing me stuff. It's much better to imagine it.
And it just gave them to us. They call us heroes. You are? I know that I said this job was 2 days and
Here's a deal. You can ask me about it.
yeah. The only one is capable of taking care of herself. I'm worried that she won't make it. We've been paid enough.
Darling, go and sing for us.
Aww.
Yeah. Oh no, please. Sing.
This moment has been talked about very much, but it's still such a beautiful thing.
I know, because she knows like he struggles with the killing part, but she knows the one thing he can do is that's all she's asking. Like, hey, like she's not asking him to go out and kill. She's like, hey, you can at least you can still sing for us because we know that that's the one thing you can do.
He is more valuable than just a killing machine.
Yeah,
which is exactly what he needs to hear and exactly what someone like Diana would tell him. So.
Maybe it's true. I think it's true.
Of course you do, Chief.
I know.
Don't really believe
I do have to wonder about Steve's mindset during much of this. He knows where he was, and it was a weird place. And he knows about her mission and stuff, but there are times when he's like, he's too much of the real world to be like, yeah, that's totally what's happening. And, and so he's just like caught between, okay, I'll go with her, but I just don't even know if this is going to end up like she thinks. And it's just a matter of going with the flow to see what happens right up until they come up against each other.
But as long as it's still alive, it doesn't
Yeah, that's what you said about No Man's Land, dude. I do love Sammy.
Gone.
I know.
Steve, they haven't been anxious. Don't worry, play cool. You got this. Attention, please. Tell me about that. The girl and I wish you many blessings and all my love about the things to fall up in your head.
I can't decide which I love best about this scene, like the fact that you can see the top of Sammy's little hat sticking out of the turban, or the fact that Steve's pipe was upside down. Like, both of them bring me such joy.
or his accent.
Yeah, right? Wow.
Okay. As a costumer and a vintage clothing nerd, they caught this perfectly. That is exactly right for this time period.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. And yet, without the wrap, and on Diana, who is uncorseted and different, like it drapes differently than it does on this woman, it makes her into a whole new being. You know what I mean? Like, she almost just barely fits the time period, but not quite. She still stands out and is a little bit different. It's actually really, really cool. Not to mention, the sword in the back of her dress, makes her stand out a little bit more. But it just was really, really awesome costuming as far as I'm concerned. That was really nice, because if they'd had the dress be any less period and then have her just put it on so that she could stick a sword down the back, I'd be like, oh, please. But they did a really nice job.
Nothing less.
What I do next? Follow your career. From most talented chemist in the German army, I am a friend. I know.
I think I like this scene because it really gives us a chance to see Steve's spy chops, and he's actually pretty good.
Until Diana walks in the room.
Oh, of course, yeah. She's always going to blow his focus, but, like you see here, he's working on her, he's got, the right angle, the right approach. He does a nice job with it, right up until it goes kablooey.
Completely goes south, yeah.
Yep.
It is life. Living activism, ultimate finding us everything left. There's something
And there she is.
She can't help but be iconic and draw every eye, it's just who she is.
Yeah.
And everyone turns their eyes to look at her.
Just like looking
I know,
at
they're all like, oh.
Who is that beautiful woman?
That's the most amazing back jewelry I've ever seen.
Yeah, right? It's nice. Oh, I see.
You tried. I do love how she is just radically an Amazon. She's totally good with just pulling out her sword and slaying this guy smack dab in the middle of a dinner party in front of everybody. It's fine.
That's not
Sure what it is we're celebrating.
victory.
Your peace could be so close. Only one of the many gods believes in that. It was wrong.
Nothing of the gods.
kills me.
Yeah.
Does he seem to think that was like, you know, a way to get interest in a chick? I don't know.
I'm very sorry. Don't believe me. I can't let you do this. What I did is not up to you.
Yes.
It's shameful. We'll be fired. Yeah. So I went to the tower.
Wherever he goes, you follow.
How will you find us?
I love me some Chief. And I love that dress just fluttering in the breeze. That's actually really cool.
Now, one thing I do kind of appreciate about this movie, like, even when like we go to Themyscira, like Steve comes in like right away, and in here, like the final act, it goes right from that party to the beginning of the final act. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of you guys ever noticed, but remember how like a lot of the posters had like that golden orange kind of glow to them?
Yeah.
I think someone implied that like that was actually the gas.
Yummy. That's symbolism for you.
Yep.
And I remember like seeing the parallels between like this and then like in the explosion on the Capitol and Batman versus Superman, and then like Bruce walking through the wreckage at the beginning of Batman versus Superman.
Yes, yes. There's nothing worse than seeing the slaughter of innocents in any shape or form, you know. And I gotta say, I'm just still impressed. She just walks into the gas and is like, I'm fine. Because he can't even get near it.
Nope.
All of that. Could have seen. Could have saved them if it weren't for you. You don't stop me from killing Gary! No. Stay away from me!
I understand everything now. It isn't just the journalist that has this corrupted, it's you too. All of you. I will find Gary, and I will kill him.
Diana! That smoke! It's the chief involved in the door! Follow the door!
And of course, there's a motorcycle for Chris Pine to ride.
Of course. I'm still impressed, though, with all, you know, that just broke between them right then. And with her being so angry at him, like, he still is like, follow smoke, like, you know, he's not like, fine, whatever, do your thing, you know, I don't even care anymore, you know, it's still, wait, no, just go that way.
Unfortunately, I have another matter to attend to.
Okay, that's like one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Diana of Themyscira, daughter of Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons. Your wrath upon this world is over.
And this is so cool too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was just thinking, I love the tight quarters of the fight.
I know.
His complete nastiness.
I know.
And her just really awesomeness. I mean, it's an awesome moment. Right up until you realize that that's not Ares.
Yeah.
Although I'm totally happy to see him gone. Bye.
I mean the
Terrible
world
person.
Yeah,
Person.
without the guy.
I love that motion right there. She's done that 3 different times. And only twice in this movie. The other one was in Batman v Superman. And that's just so nice because, like, she just doesn't change, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Gal has such a strong grasp of her character. It's a thing of beauty. Poor Steve, he's always constantly following after.
I know.
All of this should have stopped. The fighting should have stopped. Why are they doing
I don't know.
Ares is dead. They can stop fighting now. Why are they still fighting?
That's because maybe it's them. Maybe people aren't always good.
I think this is the best example of his acting in this movie.
Yeah.
Agreed. And just the lines themselves and the way he delivers them, they're perfect.
And the emotion behind it, like, he's trying to tell, like, maybe we're all flawed, and it's not as simple as just there's one bad guy.
Yep. Yep. And he totally gets it. He's been doing this war, you know.
No, it has to be him. It cannot be them.
That's right. That's right.
They don't deserve our help.
It's not about deserve. It's not. Maybe we don't. But it's not about that. It's about what you believe. You don't think I get it after what I've seen out there? You don't think I want you to tell you that there's one bad guy to blame? It's not. We're all to blame. But maybe I am. Please, if you believe that this war should stop, if you want it to stop it, how will you stop it right now? Because if you don't, there will be thousands more. Please come with me. I have to go. I have to go.
It was hella good acting.
Yeah.
Where's Diana? What? Where is she, Charlie?
Your mother did grass goes, but I can't see where they're taking them.
How will we get in there? Another lady. Come, guys. Come. Who's there? You were right. They don't deserve our help. They only deserve destruction. You're hidden. But I am not what you thought I was.
I do love that motion when she reaches for her sword and I was like, oh.
Still on.
Oh yeah.
Future. I'm not your enemy, Diana. I am the only one who truly knows you. And who truly knows them as you now do. They'll always been and always will be weak, cruel, selfish, and capable of their greatest horrors.
That was a really cool effect, by the way.
I know.
I was like, ooh.
All I ever wanted was for the dogs to see how evil my father's creation was. And they refused.
I am Diana of Themyscira,
So I destroyed them.
daughter of Hippolyta, and I'm here to complete her mission.
We're all like, oh!
I know.
My dear child, it is not the godkiller. You are. Only God can kill another god. Zeus.
It's a weapon to use against me.
You liar.
I
compel you to tell me the truth.
I am.
He has a nice way of delivering his lines.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy with David in this role.
Me too. Because he's yeah.
Gas mask guys.
Yeah, and also Steve Lewis, he's not like who you would expect to be this big imposing god of war. And I think that was also kind of the point, is that he's not exactly supposed to be this like hulking guy.
Exactly.
God of truth.
Mankind.
And here's another kind of like reminiscent thing of Man of Steel for me.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Day by day.
I
The one wise enough to see it
was left
to stop. All these years I have struggled alone. Struggling with his ideas, inspiration.
That's nice.
Weapons. But I don't make them use. They start these wars on their own. All I do is orchestrate arms.
I know he cannot keep in the hope they will destroy themselves.
But it has never been enough. When you first arrived, I was going to crush you. But I knew that only you could see what the other gods could not. Then you would join me, and with our powers combined, we could finally end all the pain, all the suffering, the destruction they bring. And we could return this world to the paradise it was before then. Forever.
Tempting.
I know.
I can never be a part of that.
I love that they kept it the same line and everything.
Yeah.
My dear, I don't want to fight. But if I must.
I like how effortless it is for him. He's not even breaking a sweat. He's not working really hard.
Not even trying.
We all go, oh, this is going to be a fun battle.
Oh, my dear, you have so much to learn.
Okay, now, does this confirm that she can fly, or is that her just kind of like levitating?
I want to say
That's
levitating.
what I know too. I was like, because she can fly in some versions and then she can't in another.
Yeah.
I've always been curious. And the whole invisible jet thing, you know?
Yeah.
I'm thinking she can't truly fly, but she has far less relationship with gravity than we do.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of like the leaps and the bounds like that, she can move radically different than we can, but it still doesn't seem to come up as flying.
I mean, maybe she could access that ability at some point, but I think also, because I feel like if they made her fly, then people would be like, oh, okay, then her powers are exactly like Superman's.
Yeah.
When they're not, there's some similarities in their abilities, but they're two different power sets from two different types of sets of powers, you know? Like, his is about biology, hers is about godliness, you know?
Yeah, I love that Steve made the decision just in that quiet moment. And then they're all freaking out, but they go ahead and back him up anyway. Symbolism right there, that was nice.
In this scene.
Aw. Yeah.
Everybody hold it together, we're not going to cry now.
Not yet, anyway.
I know. Give me a
Not yet.
I know. The minute that we see the watch, we're like, oh, crap. I think I love that he hesitates right there. She called it. But he still follows through.
Now, if only they had parachutes back then.
True.
Oh, wait, they do.
Oh, yeah, they do. He just didn't have one on.
Yeah. Now, I love the way he creates his armor here.
That is the coolest thing ever.
Because he's using like the weapons of war to create his armor, you know.
Exactly. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect symbolism.
Let's see what kind of god you really are. You will help me destroy them, Diana.
She's smart trying to burn her notes, but it really doesn't matter in the end, honey.
I know.
I love that they just, I don't know. I love these guys for coming through. You know, the plane was part of it, but there was stuff on the ground that had to be dealt with. So I love the fight on all three fronts. It's really cool.
Is that all you have to offer? It's futile to imagine you can win. Give up, Diana.
No, even though we know they live, the scene still makes me kind of sad.
Agreed.
When they're all just like waiting.
They're pretty sure they're gonna die.
That is.
And this scene right here with Steve always makes me tear up.
Yeah, I cried. I'm not gonna lie.
My mom cried, man. I was like, holy crap, Mom. She's like, woo. I love that, though. Right there. Look at that laugh. He's so happy because the warehouse is toast. And this is a really successful run. He is a good actor.
Really?
Yeah. Aww. It's so bad.
Finally, you see. Look at this world. Mankind did this, not me. They are ugly, filled with hatred, weak, just like your Captain Trevor, gone, and left you nothing. And for what? Pathetic.
Don't defame Steve Trevor, man.
Yeah. And so, like, don't be using the
She's
fact
like,
that...
I will kill you.
I've heard you tell me I'm wrong. She is the perfect example of these humans. And I'm worthy of your sympathy in every way. Destroy her there. You know that she deserves it, they all do.
Hey guys, sorry for the interruption. Warner Brothers has blocked the video from being viewed. This is me after I've tried to upload the commentary a couple of times now. So for this particular scene, I have to do some extra commentary while it's going on. So just so you guys know, but this scene right here, I have to say, I think is honestly one of the best performances that we've seen from Gal and from Chris Pine in this movie, and it's so emotional too. Just watching it and just seeing how real their emotions feel in this scene between Diana and and Steve, and it's just, and the way the music builds up to it. And I know some people have criticized this particular scene for being a little cheesy, a little melodramatic, but I don't see that. I really do enjoy this movie, and especially this scene in particular, because this love is about what Wonder Woman is all about. And when the way she stands up to Ares and stands up for love, I think is a really powerful message to have in a movie where, yes, it's an action movie and it's a superhero movie and all that stuff, but to have love at the center of the story, I think, especially in today's day and age, is an awesome thing to have. And I love that message about this movie, and especially in how love can be conveyed to young girls and young boys as well, and just on youth today. To have a message like that in a superhero movie, I think, is extremely powerful, and the way that they were able to deliver these lines today in this movie, I thought worked really, really well. And I love the way this scene plays out, and that the way the music builds up, and the way, I mean, yes, you could say that Ares' line coming up is a little cheesy when he says, "I will destroy you," but up until that moment, even then, you really feel that Diana's, once she remembers what Steve says, I think is, again, a really, really emotionally powerful, and goes to show what Wonder Woman really has always been about. And I think, and to have her stand up to Ares like that, and to be able to convey love and hope in this moment, and to choose to not to kill Dr. Poison, I think it's great. And again, I sorry to interrupt the scene with this random bit of commentary, but unfortunately, because of the Warner Brothers and how copyright works, I have to have some sort of audio over this scene. Otherwise, it's just their audio and they own it. So unfortunately, I had to do this after the fact. So you guys will hear, even though I say in a moment coming up from the commentary that that we were quiet for the recording of this part. We were initially, but I had to record something over it. So I'm pretty much done here in a moment. So we will get back to the film and the actual commentary. So thank you guys for listening, and you can catch up with us in a moment. We've all been so quiet the last few minutes.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. I'm like, I should say something. It's a commentary, but honestly, I'm just enjoying it. Sometimes you just really need to let the movie speak for itself.
Oh, I love this one scene coming up of Chief hugging the German soldier.
Yeah, when they take them off and you're like, holy crap, they're boys. They're all boys. What a beautiful statement, because so often that's all they are.
Yeah.
And Chief hugs one, because he's Chief and he's awesome. I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
Honestly, like you said, if they ever made a prequel series of just Steve's team and Etta doing missions and stuff, I wouldn't mind, honestly.
I would totally watch that.
But you can even tell here, even though obviously Diana's happy with Ares being defeated, but you can tell she's changed because of Steve's sacrifice.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You start to see more of the Diana that we meet in Batman vs Superman, the little more reserved, a little more detached from the world kind of Diana.
Yep, and a little more, has suffered sorrow and grief and loss along the way, Yeah. So. Okay, Charlie looks about ready to cry. Oh, thank you, Chief. Hug him. Okay. Okay, 4 times, sorry. And this right here is beautiful because she's in the world and yet she still stands out. See how everybody's around her and all the people. She's living in the world, but she's still not quite one of them.
To save the world, to end war and bring peace to mankind. But then they glimpse the darkness that lives within their light, and learn that inside every one of them there will always be both. Choice each must make for themselves, something no hero will ever defeat. And now I know, only love can truly save the world. So I stay, I fight, and I give. But the world we know can be.
Oh, Bruce, you're a good friend.
He is.
Now, people have speculated maybe this is the part where she's going to, like, the part in the Justice League trailer where she's breaking through the doors and she's going over to that.
It's possible, but she's in Paris, or supposedly.
True.
And that was in London. So yeah, I can see Notre Dame right over there. She's in Paris. So that would be one heck of a long way to be able to see, I gotta say.
You can leap.
I was gonna say,
awesome movie.
one leap and she's out.
She's out.
I love her whole statement though about how light and dark being inhumans and truly recognizing that we're not all good, we're not all bad, and it's just a matter of, how we do this. So you can't just condemn them all or say that they're all faultless, and it's always going to be a balance of both. I love that statement because I feel like that works for the entire DCEU,
I love the whole credit, like
the whole
this is so
visual
cool.
sequence.
I loved how they did it.
God, it was so awesome. And I love how like Zach had a stamp on this movie.
I know, I did too.
Yep. It is beautiful. Themyscira.
Now, I know we kind of talked about in the group chat, but are any of you going to see the movie about the creator of Wonder Woman?
Yes, I'm going. I can't wait.
I really want to see the movie.
Get to it fast enough, but it's it's totally worth watching when it comes around my way.
Really a book about the creator about Wonder Woman. I can't remember what it's called. I actually own it. I haven't finished it up, but it's pretty good. It goes into detail about how he came up with her and all that stuff. It's really
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and especially because it's so awesome when you look at the history of the creation of Wonder Woman, that the creator was actually in a polyamorous relationship with these two women and
huge feminist.
Yeah, didn't she have aspects? Wonder Woman had aspects of both of them.
Yeah, she did.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I really, really want to see the movie, because I didn't even know that until last year, I think, and even then I'm just wow, it's because at that time in American history, you wouldn't think that sort of thing would really be socially acceptable, and it wasn't, and that, I guess the film was going to explore that, because obviously it wasn't easy for them to be.
I was going to say, I'm sure that they had to kind of hide that to a degree. I'm sure they could not be fully open with it or risk being very ostracized.
Yeah.
So, or at least I would think. So that's an interesting. You're right. I'd like to see how the movie explores and depicts that.
Yeah. And I'm just happy that Katie and I, we've done every single DCEU movie now, or DC film movie.
Next up, Justice League.
I know we're a month and a week away, like a month and a couple weeks away. I just
so far away.
I know, it seems honestly, I feel like I've been waiting for this movie for my entire life, and it's.
I know, right?
I admit I'm not even as far back into into it as you guys, so I'm sure this just must be the most amazing dream come true watching a live action version of it. But even just being a fan of since Man of Steel and seeing these movies build, I cannot wait for this thing. So I'm totally stoked.
Especially with all the stuff that I don't know if you guys have read the recent comments made by everyone in Empire magazine, but everyone's saying this has been Zach's vision from day one. Nothing's changed. So
happy. Thank you. That made me feel good. It was like, oh, thank you, because truly, that's all I want is just it still be Zach's film, and just give me Zach's film, and it'll round out the first wave of the DCEU, and I will be forever delighted. So that's all I want.
Like at least get Zach's like Superman trilogy in there, and then I'll be okay.
Yes.
Like.
You see, me too, and it's like, okay, then throw whatever you got at me, and I'll still come see it, but I won't freak out if it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be, so. Yeah. Yeah, I have to say, though, they're starting the old bandwagon again. What is up with the lack of promotion for Justice League?
And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like there's been a lot of stuff the last few days, and now that
wagon again,
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
And as always, it's like, guys, they have Thor opening 2 weeks before it. You really think they're going to go completely bananas right before that? And we're still, like, a little over a month out. The month before is when it really hits and goes completely bananas for any big blockbuster like this. Wonder Woman was exactly the same, and they spent all their time fussing and whining and moaning about, that's not getting promoted. It got plenty of promotion. It got lots of promotion. It got so much promotion. My mother, who was living in Washington at the time, got the gist of it, heard about it. She doesn't pay attention to this stuff, you guys. This is like groundbreaking for me. Heard about it and went, OMG, a Wonder Woman movie with a woman in the lead and totally, I should go see this. She went to see it in the theater without me. Now I'm severely impressed, so I'm okay. But it's like, she's never done that. I have always had to take her and go, here, let's go see this. You'll like it. And then she does. But now she's like, what? And went and saw it. Like, don't even tell me that it didn't get promoted well. If my mom can hear about it and go, whoa, I got to go see this movie. Like, that's like unheard of. So, yeah, it's really, they're getting promoted. Yeah. It's okay. Everybody calm down.
I'm literally all the way in Singapore, and the promotions are already reaching me now.
That's excellent.
Well, even like they just came out like yesterday saying, I believe it was yesterday, like Sunday we're getting a new trailer, so.
Yeah. Can't wait.
I can't wait.
Okay, guys, you should say some of this for the podcast tomorrow, guys.
You're right. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I know. We're just so excited. It's been a couple weeks since we talked, so we gotta catch up to some degree.
We get all excited.
But
okay. Speaking of Wonder Woman, though, I'm gonna bring it back to. Did anybody see the gifts? I gotta find a clip of it of her, of Gal Gadot coming on Saturday Night Live and I laughed myself silly, and I was just so happy. She's so cute. Oh, the wall, the door. I should have used the door. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry I broke your set.
Just
very precious lady.
So it's exciting to see them, have some fun with her, and Leslie Jones like, Gal Gadot, you can't do that here. We got rules,
I know. And the guy's like, no, it's Gal Gadot, not Gadot.
Yeah.
At the end.
Gal Gadot.
Like, what?
Did she say Gadot? I've only seen the GIF, so I just read
So what's her name says Gadot, and then the one guy corrects it. No, it's Gadot.
Leslie Jones.
Oh, good.
Leslie Jones,
they corrected. Yeah. Okay, good. That's exactly how it should be.
Well, I think she says it as Gadot, so you kind of say the T, but it's not the easiest name in the world to pronounce, but yeah.
Yeah, it's Gadot with a T.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch this. I gotta find it.
But yeah, I'm so glad we're able to come together and watch this movie because I think it's truly a fantastic movie, and it's so groundbreaking in so many levels, and and especially in a year where there weren't too many movies that really stood out as truly great. Like there's only a couple of them that to me, other than Wonder Woman, really stood out to me, and that's Logan, this, and It, and those are the only three movies that I can really say I really loved this year. And not that I hated the other movies, but there were the other movies are they were good, but they're just. I'll probably forget about them in a couple months, they're not necessarily memorable to me in very many ways, but this movie, people are, this is the kind of movie I think people are going to keep talking about, especially when, it was the first movie really of its kind to be a female-led superhero film directed by a woman, and to be able to stand on its own and not rely on the fact, beat you over the head with the fact that it's, about a woman, and it's not like what Joss Whedon would have done with this movie, or what other directors would have done with this movie, where or what James Cameron said about the women have to suffer in order for their stories to be relatable and groundbreaking and blah 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 blah. It's no, you can have a truly genuine warm-hearted and good story without a woman having to suffer in order for it to be meaningful.
Yes.
Okay, guys,
That was great
we need to just take a moment to just thank the powers that be that this is Patty Jenkins' movie that we have right here, and not any of the other versions that came before it. It could have come.
Patty. Oh, I love her so much. I'm so proud. And she's Wonder Woman 2 now officially. Yes. Okay. It's so delightful to know that. Okay, awesome. We're gonna get another good one because it's Patty in charge. She's got this, and she's wonderful. She is just wonderful, and I love her. She's such a great addition. So I agree. Let's thank the powers that be. I am so grateful. She's just done excellent work, and I really hope that she kind of springboards some other some other studios to take a chance on a female director, or some other female directors to go, you know what, no, I could do directing, I want to do this. And I would love to see some really awesome things come about with this being such an amazing success, and really Patty being able to show off her very, very impressive directing skills. I would love to see that help to open the door a little bit wider for other opportunities for other women. That would be just so cool.
Yeah,
and I can't wait to see what Patty does next. Whether it's with it being Wonder Woman 2 or whatever she wants to do, I can't wait to see what she does.
Agreed. Well, and I admit I didn't see it when it came out, but I heard about Monster when it came out, and so later I was like, oh wait, that was Patty. Oh, I'll bet that was good. Like that got attention when it came out, and so it was like, okay, she's been good for a long time, so this is awesome.
Alright, so I think with that being said, that's probably going to be it from us. If you guys want to go around and tell everyone where they can find you online.
So hi everyone, I'm sorry I vanished towards the end. It's kind of late here. I'm Jean. You can find me at Badjectivity on Tumblr.
And I'm Lily from Lily Loves Comics on Tumblr.
And I am Katie. I'm Story Advocate on Tumblr.
And you guys can find me at True Man of Steel on Tumblr or Twitter, or here at Nerdy Nick on YouTube. And you guys can check out tomorrow for our latest episode of the DC Films podcast, so that most of us will be able to do tomorrow, so you guys will check that out, as well as any other videos on our channel. Thank you guys for listening to the Wonder Woman commentary and watching the movie with us. It was a lot of fun, and we can't wait to talk about it more as the weeks go on, and we can't wait to see Justice League. So thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys again for listening. It really does mean a lot to us that you guys stick around to listen to all this stuff with us. And with that being said, that's going to be it from all of us here. So until next time, guys, have a good one.